Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today at Re-Written Vintage Rescue. Marshall and I thought today would be a great day. Oh yeah, he's here. Just a minute. Marshall, can you say hi? Hey, can you say hi to everybody? He's really busy working right now, garden homestead, but we thought it would be a great day to talk about maters, taters, and save you for laters. Thanks for joining me. Let's go. So my tomatoes are doing fabulous, and I thought this would be a great time for us to talk about starting them from start to finish, and some things that maybe we haven't thought of. Now, I've been studying tomatoes for a long time. Now, if you just, the way of doing it before was to just throw them out there and maybe stack them up a little bit with something, some kind of panel or one of these cages, and let them go to town. But I've been trying to learn from people who've grown the biggest, juiciest, most flavorful tomatoes. So I thought today I'd talk to you all about what I've learned. So when you first start your tomatoes from seedlings, it's okay if you put a few seeds in a little cup. But once they start coming up and they get their second set of leaves, that's called your true leaves, that's when you want to transport them to a little bigger pot, more like a 4-inch pot. You have to be real careful that you give them plenty of room to move, or they'll get stressed and they probably won't make it. Your tomato seeds, there's certain things that you should do when they're indoors. Now, I haven't had much luck with growing tomatoes from seed and then having them really produce for me once I put them outside. And the reason being, I don't have artificial light. I don't have a greenhouse. And if you're really going to get your tomatoes a good jump when they're seeds, they need an artificial light, something that imitates what they're going to get out in the natural setting. They need quite a bit of sunlight throughout the day. So when you're planting your garden, you want to make sure that you come out in the afternoon and see where the sun is the most. That's where you want to put your garden. Something else you would need to do, the stems of the tomatoes need to be very strong and sturdy. That's where they get all their nutrients. That's what holds them up straight. That's what's going to hold those big juicy tomatoes. So you might want to every now and then, for an hour or two a day, run a fan on your seedlings and let them get stronger. Let their little stems strengthen up. Now, I just do all my stuff outside. Once I plant my tomatoes, I let them go to town until they're about 12 inches tall. Once they get there, that's when I usually put the cages on them. And you want to make sure that when you plant them, you give them plenty of room. So I usually give a couple feet between each of my tomatoes. Why? For the same reason that I said with the fan in the house, because you need the air to circulate around your tomatoes. You want your stems to get strong and sturdy. It also helps fight disease if you're able to keep the air circulating. Okay? I had someone tell me the other day when they were watching me work with my tomatoes, I'm the first person they've ever seen trim tomatoes. Well, I'm sure I'm not the first person that ever has done it. But I have learned that professional growers and people who show their tomatoes, people who save seeds and then resell their tomatoes, they want the biggest, juiciest tomatoes. They're going to trim the bottom. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so down here, once my tomatoes start getting about 2 foot tall, I'm going to take and I'm going to snip off the runners, okay? And I'm sure not going to let any of the leaves touch the ground. So I want to make sure I have all the leaves off the ground and I've snipped off any runners. I have a very nice, tall, slender plant, okay? And as you can see, this one's already got some little, I hope you can see that. There you go. Already has some little blossoms on it, so it won't be long I'll be getting my tomatoes. But the reason that you snip those off is, number one, if your leaves drag the ground, then you are susceptible to disease and fungus. You want to keep the air circulating around them. You want the water to go up to the top and all of the nutrients that feed the tomato to go to the top, and they're going to feed the tomatoes on top until they're big and juicy and wonderful. If you just leave them all, which is fine to do, you're going to have a lot of tomatoes. You're not going to do anything wrong, but your tomatoes are going to be smaller. I'm looking for the big ones, big and juicy. I used to show cookies and things like that at the fair. It'd be fun to have a really good crop of big fat tomatoes and take them to the fair. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want the big tomatoes, then try to trim off keep those trimmed off on the bottom and let them grow tall and let all the nutrients, the air circulate around it. You won't have a problem with disease. Something else too, this is when you want to be feeding your soil with calcium. Tomatoes really need calcium. That's where your eggshells are going to come in handy. If you're out of eggshells, and you know, one quick way to take care of that is to put a Tums next to each plant. And then when you water them, they dissolve, calcium gets in the soil. One other thing I wanted to say is you want to make sure that you mulch. You want to keep the weeds away from your tomatoes so that they're not competing for food and for minerals and for water. Now, tomatoes need water, okay? But they need water way down to their roots. Their roots go very deep, just like corn, just like potatoes. Now, if you go outside and you just water every day for 20 minutes, you're not getting that down to the root where it needs to go, which is several feet below the earth's surface. It's almost better to just come out once a week with the sprinkler and let it run for a couple hours until you have 1.5 inches to 2 inches of water soaking in on those tomatoes. If you're only coming out every day and giving it, you know, just getting them wet or whatever, you're really not feeding the tomatoes, watering the tomatoes, you're watering the weeds. So you're going to see a lot more weed growth. Your grass clippings, your hay, straw, anything that you can put out there to help with the weeds, you should do, and try to find a cheap way to do it. Your pine cones, your grass clippings. Okay, now let's talk about these taters. I have taters in all kinds of various stages here, so I thought we would talk about them. Now, down here, these came up late, so they've only been covered and hilled one time. So what I'm going to do when they get about this tall, that's about right, I'm going to take the remaining dirt that I trenched out. If you saw my potato video, I showed you how to do that. If you missed it, I'll put the link below so you can find it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these, this one too, recover them all the way, and then they're going to start coming out again, and they're going to be even fuller. As you can see, these are. Now these have been hilled twice, and I'm done hilling them. They're about 2 feet tall now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them get grow as tall as they want. I'm going to water them very good, just like we do our tomatoes. I'm going to let it soak all the way down to the roots. I'm not just going to water the weeds. And then when you see those leaves starting to get brown and yellow and limp, I'm going to stop watering. And then I'm going to let them just grow those potatoes and get bigger and bigger and bigger below. And then we'll start digging. So when the time comes to dig those up, I hope you'll join me. You can see I have a nice little row of carrots there behind my potatoes. Looking forward to harvesting them too. Okay, so I remounded my smaller potatoes, and in just a couple days they're going to poke out. They'll be looking like this one. and they'll keep growing. They'll get bigger and bigger. So it's really important that I water them good right now when they're growing. And we're expecting a rain tonight, so that'll take care of that for me today. You know, aren't potatoes almost biblical? Like Lazarus, you keep burying them, thinking that they're going to die or they're gone, and then they just keep popping up. Let's talk about the save you for laters. Here in the Midwest today, it was 91 degrees with a heat index of 97. Very hot, and unless I can grill, talk my husband into grilling, I really don't want to cook because the kitchen gets too hot. So one thing you can do is look at your leftovers that you've had left for the entire week and see what you can make out of them. And one of the fun things that I like to do is to make salads. So these are worth every penny you spend on them. And like I showed you in my garage sale video, I got all of these tops. I really like them. They're plastic and they're dishwasher safe, and they keep everything in here really, really cold. And so I also work full time. So I like to, on Sundays, make these salads up ahead of time and put them in the fridge so that if my husband gets hungry at lunchtime, I come home at dinner, I don't feel like cooking, or I want to take something healthy with me to work, I just grab a jar. And they're just really easy to make, and you use your imagination and you make whatever you want. I'll show you some of the things I had chosen this week. Hope you can see most of them. So I had made salsa last year, so I have some salsa, chopped up onions. I had some hamburger left over. I have some refried beans, taco meat, vegetables like cucumbers, different kinds of cheeses. I cut up some peppers, hard-boiled eggs. I had some rice. I had some pasta salad. All kinds of things. So what can I make with this? This is why it's real important that you don't throw your leftovers away. If you make a chicken and you don't eat all the chicken, freeze what you didn't eat. Same with pot roast, same with pork roast, same with ham. Dice it up, put it in the freezer, and you can always pull it out and make some salads later, okay? So let's see what we're gonna do today. I wanna start off, I'm thinking with something a little Italian. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my salad dressing on the bottom. That way it keeps my vegetables fresh, doesn't make them soggy. And then when I dump it all on a plate, the salad dressing's on top. Or you can take the salad dressing in a different container, but this way it's one less thing for me to have to carry to work. So I'm going to put a little of the Italian salad dressing in the bottom. And then I'm going to get my lettuce that I've already cut up. It's over here. So I'm going to add some lettuce to my jar. And really, guys, this is just whatever you like. If you like fruit, like pineapple, put some pineapple in there. Do you have red beans and rice? Put that in there. Sloppy Joes, put it in there. It's good. Okay, so now I have my salad dressing, my lettuce. I shredded some carrots. They're in there too. I think I'm going to put a layer of feta cheese and maybe some diced cheese, because really, who doesn't like cheese? What else do I want? I think I'll sprinkle in some onions, just a few. And, oh, I have leftover pasta. Let's put that in there. I mean, this is so easy to do, and so it's a great way to use your leftovers to save money. It's kind of like shopping your pantry, see what you have left over. and don't waste anything. There you go. There's my first one. I think that's all I'll put in this one. No, I didn't put any peppers. Let's put some red and green peppers just on top for fun, for color. So see, here's my lunch. Here's my dinner. Here's my husband's lunch. So I put my salad dressing, I put lettuce, I put 2 different kinds of cheese, some pasta, and some peppers. And it's an Italian dinner. Let's try another one. Let's see what we can do this time. All right. I think I'm going to do something Mexican with my taco meat. So I'm going to put my salad dressing on the bottom. And it's whatever salad dressing you guys like. Okay? On the bottom. Lettuce. And I usually label these so I remember what's what in the refrigerator. I should have brought out some corn. I forgot about the corn. That sounds really good though. But I'm going to put in my taco meat. Spread it in there. You can dice up tomatoes. Any kind of vegetables you like, and they'll stay fresh in these jars for up to 7 days. So I added some taco meat. We can't forget the cheese. Some shredded cheese. And some peppers, red and green peppers. Ooh, it's looking good. Now, if I wanted to, I could put a little more lettuce on top. But I think what I'm going to do is I had some Fritos. So I'm going to put some Fritos on top. And no, those aren't going to get soggy. There. So see, here's a little Mexican salad. I put my dressing on the bottom, my lettuce, my taco salad, peppers, cheese, Fritos on top. Lunch or salad number 2. My husband's not big on taco meat. So I think I'll just make him something out of regular hamburgers and rice. That sounds pretty good. So let's see. I'll put my dressing. Oh, let's use salsa this time. Honestly, there's no better salsa than my salsa. It's good. And it's got corn in it. Yum! Fresh from the garden. Okay, got my salsa on the bottom. Gotta add my lettuce. See, isn't this fun? You can come up with any idea, anything you like. All right, so I'm gonna put just his regular hamburger. This is so much more inexpensive than running and getting fast food. I'm using my leftovers, but I'm using them in a different way, okay? All right, so I've got my hamburger in there. Oh, let's give him some rice. I think he likes rice. All right, so if I had red beans, I would put that in there too. Wouldn't that be good? All right, so I'm gonna give him some rice. And I know he likes cheese. Oh, let's give him some hard-boiled egg. Yeah, so we have salsa, lettuce, hamburger, rice, some hard-boiled egg on top. I'll give him some peppers, just a few. And some cheese, diced and cubed cheese. Dinner number 3. Let's try one more. So I think for this one, I'm just going to make a Cobb salad. And I don't have any ham, but I'm going to make it work with what I have, okay? Oh, peas are really good. So if you have peas and they're frozen, just rinse them off and put them in here. They'll thaw while they're in the refrigerator. Same with your frozen corn. It's really, really good. Okay, so I have my dressing. Gonna put my lettuce. See, you can make your whole week's worth of lunches this way. So much more healthy. Did that make sense? So much more healthy. Much more healthy, and you're saving money. Okay, so we have this. I want to do like a Cobb salad. So I'm going to put my cucumbers. I'll tell you something else my daughters love too. I'll make cucumbers and onions in these jars, and then I'll send them over to their house. Their husbands love them. So you just take your cucumbers and make a layer, your onions, your cucumbers, your onions, just in a little jar like this. Then you mix up your, I use white vinegar, just a little couple tablespoons of water, couple tablespoons of oil, and some salt and pepper. And pour them over the cucumbers, shake it all up, and they're better the next day. So you let them get cold in the fridge, and it's good. Okay, so I'm going to add regular cheese and some hard-boiled egg. Ooh, that's looking good. Let's add another layer of lettuce. And to top this one off, when we had breakfast yesterday, we fried up some bacon. I had some left over, so I'm going to put some bacon on top. Oh, this is good. So here we go. We have our dressing on the bottom. We have some lettuce, a row of cucumbers, some cheese, another row of lettuce, and some bacon. If I had some corn, I'd put corn in there too. I didn't have any left over, and I'm not going to open a jar and just waste it, okay? But I still have plenty of leftovers here that I could make many more jars. So I'll probably make some more and send some over to the kids so that they have some in their refrigerator too. But look at all these. We have lunches this week for my work. My husband has lunch when I'm at work, or if it's hot outside and I don't want to cook, we have dinner. So it's important not to waste. You guys, if you have leftover hamburger, helper, freeze it, okay? Don't just throw it away. The prices of food are soaring, and so is everything else. And we need to make sure we're not wasteful. Use what you have. You can also do this kind of idea with things that you have in your pantry. Okay, you can use these jars for baking, and we'll do a video on that. You can make your mixes ahead of time, and then when you have company or you want to do something really quick, you just mix an egg in there, a little bit of milk or whatever, pop them in the oven, you bake them right in the jar. Okay, best investment you can make. I was fairly disappointed with my sweet corn. I planted a lot. I think 7, 8 rows of sweet corn, and it came up very, very spotty. But instead of saying, oh well, I won't have any sweet corn this year, I ran out here as fast as I could and planted some more. So you can see the new ones are popping up, and I think I'm still going to have plenty of time for those to do well. And I had some volunteer pumpkins come up. I told you I wasn't going to mess with those this year, but you know what? Since they came up on their own, I thought I'd give them a go. And they're doing really well. Let's go down here. This is my gem corn. I think I have 8 or 9 rows of that. I make necklaces out of Indian corn and give it to my friends and family. I like to decorate with it. I have lots of beans. I think I have 30 bean plants, green beans. And over here on this end of my garden, these are all edible flowers. So I have a row of hollyhocks. Looks like some of them are getting ready to bloom. Look at my beautiful cone flowers. I just planted some peonies that I got from my neighbor. I have some volunteer marigolds popping up, and a whole row of sunflowers that I will harvest the seeds. Here's another beautiful coneflower. Isn't that beautiful? I have lavender. I have sage. And another volunteer marigold. Some more coneflowers. Some more lavender. And some more peonies. And over there by the stands are my cucumbers. And planted those from seed. They're really moving kind of slow, but I think once they get a really good root system, they're going to go to town. Now you guys can see that underneath my straw mulch here, that's where I put my pine cones. Because those pine cones are going to add a lot of vitamins and nutrients and minerals to my soil. So that's why my flowers are so vibrant and beautiful. I could come out here and spend hours every day. I just love it. This is my red popcorn down here. It's a small variety of Indian corn that you can actually pop. You can grind it into flour. And I plan on using it as popcorn. So we'll follow the progress on that too. I planted 3 rows and we'll see how it does. I want to make sure that my channel is a fun channel and that we learn from each other and that we build a safe community here to talk and to share our ideas. And sometimes we have to get serious because life isn't always fun. So sometimes we have to tell the real deal, right? But it's important to remember the past so that we can prepare for the future. But we also need to talk about the now to prepare for the future. And that's what I try to do. So I hope you guys will join this community. Feel like you're a part of it. Leave me some comments down below of videos you'd like to see. Or do you have an idea for a jar that you think would really be good that you would like to share with others? And let's get to talking with each other, okay? I hope you guys have a great week. Don't overdo it out in this heat. And I'll see you later.